Hi, I'm Jason Marczak, Vice President and Senior Director of the Adrienne Arsht Latin America Center at the Atlantic Council. This is another episode of our Live from COP28 series. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here today with Michael Jung, ICF Climate Center's Executive Director. Michael, welcome.
Nice to be here.
You've been here at COP now for almost 2 weeks.
I've been here since before day one, and I will be leaving after the last day.
Okay, that's dedication. Explain to our viewers a little bit about ICF Climate Center, what it does, and what you're hoping to achieve, or what you have been achieving in this period of time that you've been here in Dubai.
Well, thanks for the chance. Most people know ICF as a consultancy. It's 9,000 people, 80 offices around the world, and people come to us, governments, companies, communities, come to us with questions that they don't know the answers to. And we do the math, we crunch the numbers, run the analysis, and give them a deliverable. That said, climate is a problem that's bigger than all of our clients combined. And so we decided at ICF, because we have a long history of serving the greater good. ICF, in fact, stands for the Inner City Fund. We started as a social impact fund helping inner city businesses in downtown DC in the late 1960s. So we decided climate is that new problem that we need to throw everything that we have against. So we started a think tank inside of the consultancy. And the think tank asks the questions that our clients are not yet asking us, and we turn around and give it away to the public for free as thought leadership.
You've been following the discussions at COP. You've been having a lot of meetings and attending a lot of sessions. As you think about leaving here, what's been achieved at COP, where are you the most maybe cautiously optimistic?
You know, Jason, everyone, I think, sees the headlines. 3x renewables, 2x energy efficiency, 3x nuclear, loss and damage, all these pledges, methane pledge, et cetera. And I think that that's a really, important. That is the reason we are at COP, is to achieve progress at the political level, at the technical level. That said, the thing that gives me the most hope is the Brownian motion that happens around here. You bump into people, you have conversations, you end up having lunch or waiting in line or just, sitting down on the bench next to someone that you didn't have a plan to meet, that you didn't know existed. You learn about what they're working on. You realize how much you have in common, how much you care about. And sometimes those connections, those opportunities materialize out of nothing. That's what gives me hope, is that 100,000 people came here to COP. And I think 100,000 people are going to come away from COP with some new ideas.
Yeah, new ideas, new partnerships, and a new commitment. New commitment to our planet and to climate change and energy transition issues. ICF works around the world. A lot of work in Africa, a lot of work in Asia. But as we were discussing, Latin America is also an emerging region of work for ICF. Why is that?
So I would say Latin America represents an area where we have long cooperated as a hemisphere. We have a tradition across the Americas of being first movers when it comes to global collaboration, cross-border cooperation. And climate is the ultimate collaborative challenge. And I think we have a real opportunity to show up and show the rest of the world how to get this done, how we can cooperate. And the challenges we're facing are ones that we face in common. A hurricane hits the Caribbean, and it's usually not limited to the Caribbean. It hits the US. A heat wave in the waters off of Peru happen, and it impacts every part of the United States. So these are regional challenges, and we have a hemispheric opportunity to get regional solutions in place.
And we thankfully have a commitment from the U.S. government at this point to really address some of these issues. Came about the Summit of the Americas a couple of years ago, and part of the Partnership to Address the Climate Crisis 2030, which is an initiative of the administration, in which the Atlantic Council is spending a lot of time on helping to steer in the direction in which it can have long-term prosperity opportunities. Michael, when you look now between COP28, and we're still to be determined where COP29 will be, but we do know COP30 will be in Brazil. So maybe looking out 2 years, what do you hope will be achieved between this COP and maybe when we're all together in Berlin in 2 years?
I love meeting people like you and chatting, with folks all around when we come to COP. That said, I am hopeful that someday we will stop COP, that we don't have to have any more COPs. And so I would like to see personally the beginning of the end, some sort of horizon out there where we can say, yes, the heavy lifting has been done and we'll have arrived. That said, between now and then, the specific areas that I'm looking to for progress, I think climate and health. This year was the first health day, the first climate and health ministerial. I think that health is one of the places where when impacts arrive, whether it be vector-borne disease or extreme heat as a public health emergency, When those impacts arrive with frequency, at scale, at an intensity that we cannot ignore, governments, let's face it, if a government can't protect its citizens from the health crises that challenge them, that government loses legitimacy. So we will see governments act in ways when the health emergency hits on climate that are going to, I think, represent, a step forward in terms of the level of urgency that we engage in as a society.
It's a really important point. There was so much focus on health in the midst of the COVID pandemic. The whole world was united around how do we have better health systems, health delivery. And now that COVID is in the rearview mirror, many societies have moved on. Actually, the Adrienne Arsht Latin America Center, we continue to focus on the importance of health, the health economy, right, writ large, and how health is tied to everything. It's tied to economic development. It's tied to labor force optimization. And so health and climate is going to be an increasingly important issue as you mentioned, as these new diseases hit, and we will probably, unfortunately, see new diseases that will continue to rise, and look at then the implications of that on our broader economy. So how do we have in place those mechanisms to prevent the birth of those diseases as much as possible?
Well, I'm excited because health as a sector, it's almost 20% of the U.S. GDP, so it's an enormous part of what we do, and that means it has our attention, it has resources, it has frameworks and institutions and processes. Preventative medicine is a thing. Can we learn from the frameworks that we have on preventative medicine to invest into preventative climate, for example?
And how do we also, on the health front, a key goal is to work across borders and preventing the outbreaks of major diseases. How do we work across borders to prevent further damage to our planet by climate change?
I could not have said that better than you just did.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us here at the Live from COP28 video interview series. Again, I'm Jason Marczak, Vice President, Senior Director of the Adrienne Arsht Latin America Center, the Atlantic Council, and pleased to be joined today by Michael Chung, Executive Director of the ICF Climate Center.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.